Well, hi. Today is Tuesday, November 26, 2024, and it is time for another Morning Coffee. I'm Todd Studer. Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving a couple of days early. A reminder that we will not have a show Thanksgiving Day. However, we will have a show the day after Thanksgiving on Black Friday and do my own little preview of the Iowa-Nebraska game. I've been thinking about this, and actually I went and looked up bowl predictions for Iowa because, look, Hawkeye fan, yeah. But most of the experts are, and we'll put that in quotations, are thinking that Iowa will go to the ReliaQuest Bowl. Now, that is the old Outback Bowl. Seems like that's the main bowl that they go to every year. If they're going to make a bowl game, they're headed to Tampa. And the ReliaQuest Bowl is going to be, by the way, the Outback Steakhouse is no longer sponsoring that bowl, so that brings in ReliaQuest, which is apparently some kind of cybersecurity company. Hadn't heard of it before then. So it's going to be on December 31st. A lot of times it would be the first game played on New Year's Day, but December 31st on a Tuesday. So if Iowa makes that game. There's also a couple of people who think that it's more likely that Iowa would end up at the Music City Bowl. And some are even predicting that they could play Alabama. How about that? LSU was another one that was mentioned as a possibility for an opponent. Now, Nebraska, being they've broken the bowl drought of 8 years and they're going to be going, my belief is it's going to be very, very attractive. Even if Iowa beats Nebraska on Friday, it'll be very attractive for a bowl game to bring in Nebraska because I know a lot of Husker fans, and I know that they're going to travel very, very well. There's going to be a lot of folks wearing red and white that want to be at that bowl game regardless of where they are. So the all likelihood, looking them up, was Music City Bowl was at the most likely. Both teams, both Iowa and Nebraska, were considered in for the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Please, no, I don't. That's just dumping mayonnaise on the winning coach. That's just wrong. It's disgusting. I don't even know why they do it and why they put that into the contract. But anyway, bowl season, and Iowa State also going to a bowl this year, and probably likelihood if they keep winning out. And, they've still got another game against K-State, one that they won big last year. So who knows how big of a bowl game Iowa State may go to. They may get to a New Year's Day bowl. So we'll cross our fingers for Cyclones and another school that travels very well when it comes to bowl games. Sprout Marketing Solutions is one of our sponsors here on Morning Coffee. And Kelsey formed this company to be able to help you grow your business. And one of the ways that she does that is through online marketing, managing your social media, handling all aspects of it so you don't have to worry about it. Let someone else figure out all the algorithms, and someone who's an expert at it and is rapidly growing her business. She wouldn't be growing as fast as she is if she wasn't good at what she does. So go to sproutmarketingsolutions.com, get a hold of Kelsey, sit down, have a talk with her, find out for yourself just how knowledgeable she is, and strongly consider bringing her onto your marketing team. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Also, AirServe Heating and Air Conditioning and Waldstein Plumbing, they have been a supporter of Morning Coffee since the very beginning, and that is Travis and the rest of the Waldstein family, Hayden heading up Waldstein Plumbing. And when integrity matters, and I've given them this slogan, I eventually want to see it, Travis, on a bumper sticker. When integrity matters, AirServe Heating and Air Conditioning in Council Bluffs and Waldstein Plumbing is who you want to call. So they follow through with what they say. You know how important that can be. I remember years ago when I was thinking about starting a painting company, and I talked to a buddy of mine, and I asked him, and I said, what would be the most important thing you'd be looking for? And he said, call me back. Travis is a huge believer in that. He answers calls. He has staff that takes care of that. If you call and have to leave a message, they're going to get back to you very, very quickly. So AirServe Heating and Air Conditioning of Council Bluffs, Waldstein Plumbing, thank you very much for being such great sponsors. Also, another one of our sponsors is Georgi Ivanov with The Best Wrestler. And I went down to the Best Wrestler facility to talk to George about some of the different things that they are doing, not just with area athletes in the sport of wrestling, but also other ways that they're using that facility to be able to reach out into the community?
With us partnering with our West Foundation, it comes to understanding that we are supporting the community. We are open to the community and engaging with them, which is, it's been really, really an awesome thing for us to do as well. So besides the Best Wrestler running its wrestling club out of here, practices every day, workouts for the kids, we also have jiu-jitsu. So the best jiu-jitsu is run out of here as well. And we have adult and kids classes with that. Also, we started fitness classes. So on Tuesday and Thursday, so in the mornings, 5:45 to 6:35, I believe, we have our morning workouts for our members.
Okay.
And then at 11:30 until 12:30, we have fitness that's open to the community. And that's actually something that's really interesting. It's basically the way we run our wrestling strength and conditioning and muscle endurance, explosiveness, etc. For our wrestlers. We utilize the same exercises to train the community. So anybody is more than welcome to stop by. If they're a member of the jiu-jitsu or the wrestling, it's free. If they're not, it's $5 drop-in. And they come in here and we run them through a 1-hour workout. And it's pretty awesome. Obviously, we can scale down.
Right.
But they get to use our bags. They get to throw the dummies, and we teach them how to do that. They get to climb ropes, they pull-ups, resistance bands training, sprints, jumps. We incorporate a lot of the wrestling workouts into the everyday fitness. So it'll be awesome for us to get some more people out in the community.
Right. So for the everyday fitness, how in shape does someone need to be coming in to be a part of that class?
They don't need to be in shape.
Okay.
That's the cool part. I think a lot of people think that, I have to be in shape so I can start working out so I don't embarrass myself or so I'm able to keep up or whatever. And that kind of defeats the purpose a little bit. Not really, but the idea is come in here at your worst maybe, right? And we are supposed to take you on this transformational journey and help you live a healthier lifestyle and get in better shape and see some results, right? And then once you get in shape, then you can just maintain it. But the hardest part is just starting and getting in shape. And
that's the hardest part about anything
absolutely.
Is just getting going and starting to develop a little muscle memory of just showing up.
Absolutely.
I would imagine. Is this something that's designed for a once-a-week workout, or should they be here for both of the
twice
of the times?
Yeah, the more the better, right? But right now we're just twice a week, Tuesday and Thursday at 11:30. They can just come in and we can run them through a workout. And it's like you said, the hardest part is making it a routine. Once you incorporate this into your daily routine and put it on the schedule, then it's a lot easier for you to not give yourself a way out, just show up.
I would imagine that being out here on the mats, probably need to have some dedicated shoes. Would that be right if they're coming to that workout?
Yeah, so we encourage them to, that's what's unique about this fitness experience, right, is we encourage them to invest in some wrestling shoes. If not, we have some that they can borrow, or if not, they can use their socks. But we don't really wear street shoes on the mats, just so we can keep them clean and safe and not scratched up. But wrestling shoes, and they can learn how to throw the dummies. Maybe they can do some self-defense, right? Exercises. They'll learn how to throw the dummies and protect themselves. Maybe they need to throw someone on the street.
Well, that's not the only thing you do for the community. Also, you actually have an open workout where people can come in for wrestling, that you just invite young people to get a first experience in what it's all about.
Yes, so on Sunday what we've done is we've started open mat, and that's open to all ages. So I'm encouraging some parents, right, some dads or moms to come in and wrestle with their kids or with whomever, and it's at 5 o'clock on Sundays, and it's open gym, no structure. You can come and just get an extra workout in, or you don't have to be a part of our club. You can be a part of any club, or you don't have to be a part of any club, and you can come and you can be an alumni of the sport of wrestling, right? And you just miss working out. Show up in here and just get a nice workout, and it's open to the community. It's free, so people can come on Sunday at 5 p.m.
At 5 p.m.
Yep.
And about how long does that run?
It's about an hour and a half.
About an hour, really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to spring something on you here, because you have obviously you have a lot of local ties here with the wrestling community.
Yeah.
You ever see any of your old teammates coming by from your Lewis Central days and wanting to get back into it at all, or just catching up or anything like that?
Yeah, that's great. Not a whole lot. You know what's interesting? A lot of my old teammates actually have moved. They don't live around here.
Okay.
Yeah, not as many of them. I know some do, but a lot of them have gotten jobs at different cities, or they've moved away for family, or whatever, school took them away, or whatever it may be. And a lot of them are not here that I know of, at least. But I know some still are, and they're more than welcome to stop by. It'll be awesome to kind of revisit the good old days, right? But
well, also I wanted to talk to you. You just got back from a big event in Tulsa.
yeah.
And how did that go? How were your athletes, and how was the process down there?
It was really good. Do you mind me adding a few more things that we do for the community?
No, perfect. Do that first, yeah.
So, anyways, I want to say that we also have open gym for Council Bluffs Police Department. So they're able to come in here and utilize the space they do jiu-jitsu, I believe, or self-defense, or groundwork, or whatever the technical terminology that they use. But they come in here and they run a practice once a week, or they're welcome to. And I know that they did it more in the past. Now they're kind of slowing down. They've been busier, but they utilize the space as well. And actually, we've been helping a local club that it's just getting started. It's called Iron Core Wrestling Club, I believe, and they utilize the space as well. Outside of our practices, they're completely independent, and they come and they use the space and they work out as well. So those are a few things that we do. But Tulsa went really well for us. We took record number of kids. I think the most we've taken in the past was around 15 kids.
Okay.
And this time we took about 27 or 28 kids, and it was awesome for many reasons. But one, this is one of the best wrestling tournaments in the country, the toughest wrestling tournaments in the country for that age group, which is 15-year-olds and all the way down to 5-year-olds. And for us to have that many kids go there and compete, even when they're not, ready to go there and compete, they challenged themselves. They were vulnerable. They stepped out of their comfort zone. They saw where we were, and it was a huge growth opportunity, learning opportunity for them to see where we're at and to see where we need to go to. And so, anyways, we took a bunch of kids. It was awesome. A lot of them made it really deep into the tournament, which shows progress from where they've been to where they are now. We placed 4 kids. And so what makes this tournament tough is there was 45 states that I believe that competed. And normally to be an All-American at a national tournament in wrestling, you have to place top 8. This was top 6, so it makes it even more challenging. But we had 4 kids in the top 6, 1 second, 1 fourth, and 2 fifth places. We had probably 3 or 4 other kids that made it in top 8, 7th or 8th place,
right.
And they did not get All-American honors. And we had some kids that were 1 match away from placing. So it was a good showing, after all.
Well, you talk about, maybe not feeling like they're ready. Who is?
Right.
You start. You just have to start.
Absolutely.
And I've been a big believer of this for a while. Is that when you don't know what to do, just do something. It doesn't. Just get going. Just begin, and then you can adjust from there. But that first step out, like if you had somebody going to their first meet ever, that in itself is a huge hurdle to overcome, let alone the results. Just stepping out there at an event like that. And I'm sure that with some of the young people that have never been there in something like that before, saucer eyes and things, that being at something of that magnitude. And also, and again, I'm just kind of speaking off the cuff here, that feeling like they're part of something that's bigger than themselves. Because if you got 45 states there, that means you have a lot of athletes.
A lot. I believe it was well over 2,000 kids that wrestled there.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, it's unbelievable, and it's some of the brackets are over 100 kids, and so you have all these different age groups, 8 divisions, girls, boys. They wrestled in 2 different gyms. The one gym had 12 mats, and the other gym had 4 maybe. But a lot of wrestling happened in those 2 days. I mean, I remember we were there at 7:30 in the morning, and we stayed until 10 p.m. at night as coaches, and we just went through different sessions. But you're correct. Yeah, you don't have to be ready to go and show up at this. Ultimately, that's what gets you ready for it, right? You have to have the courage and the vulnerability to show up and improve. And a lot of our kids did, which takes a lot of courage to do that. And so I commend them for doing that. And it was ultimately a growing opportunity for all of us. I actually encourage more people to go, to more kids that are starting in the sport. Don't worry that you're going to get your butt kicked, right? It's okay. No one expects you to start wrestling and be a national champion the next year, right? If you do, great, but that's not the reality. The reality is we have to start and throw yourself out there and get your butt kicks, get your failures, lose a lot of matches, learn from them, and ultimately that's how you grow. It's not, you don't grow by sitting at home and hiding and protecting your record or being scared of competing so you don't lose, right? That's not how you grow. So,
well, I'm curious about because obviously, with your family history with wrestling, that you got started at a very early age.
Yes.
How often, when you go to an event like this and you take young people that maybe are at their first tournament, do you think about what it was like for yourself back there, and can you put yourself into their shoes and be able to relate to them a little way in that way?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, I've had the unique experience where my father was my coach growing up, and he was a very, very well respected coach in Bulgaria, and then he worked for United World Wrestling, which is the World Wrestling Organization, and he traveled in a lot of countries as a coach. He actually used to travel to countries and live there months or years at a time. He lived in Africa for 2 years, but anyways, and he would work in their Olympic training centers and teach them how to implement the system and teach them how to develop future Olympians, right? And so my point with that is, it was a blessing and a curse because he was also my father and he was also my coach. And I'm fortunate that he was my coach because he's one of the best, but also he was my father, which made it very challenging. It's hard as a kid to draw the line between when is coach speaking or when is dad speaking, right? And so because of that though, now, yes, I put myself in those athletes' shoes and or those parents, and I can kind of bridge the gap between the athletes and the parents and try to educate them on how they can navigate those waters better, how they can make sure that they're not ruining their relationship as a parent and an athlete just because they want their kid to do really well and they have to push them, right? So, and a lot of those kids, back to your question, that are just starting or just going through their first tournaments, I always use an example. I don't believe I won a tournament until I was a freshman in high school. And I started wrestling when I was 3 or 4 years old, just following my dad into the gyms and so the whole time, it's very tough to keep showing up and practicing day in and day out because I've practiced, in Bulgaria, there's no really wrestling seasons. You don't just train 3 months out of the year and then not for the other 9, right? That's something that you do. It's kind of like other sports here. It's kind of like going to the gym and working out, right? This becomes a lifestyle. And so yes, when I first started, it's very discouraging to keep going to practice and learning how to wrestle and training and pushing yourself and never winning a tournament. But I remember when it clicked for me finally, when technique matched my strength and I became more experienced on the mat, I was undefeated for a couple years there in Bulgaria because I started winning a lot of matches, and that's when I kind of hit my stride. And so I keep using that as an example to encourage our kids to not lose motivation or trust in themselves or belief in themselves. Instead, stay with the course, keep showing up. Consistency is very important. Don't lose courage and keep showing up, and eventually you will see a result. I mean, it's inevitable.
Typically, when a young person gets on one of these mats with you and is part of the club, do they have previous wrestling experience when they get here? Do you have anybody that's brand new to the sport?
Yeah, so we actually started our foundations program, and that is a lot lower. It's a lot cheaper entry point, money-wise, investment-wise from the parents. They're only twice a week, so the actual commitment to working out is not as big because it's intimidating, right? At first, it can be intimidating telling a kid, hey, you need to be here 5 days a week, all year round, and just be fully invested into this thing when they're 5 years old. They have no idea, right? So at first, it's okay for them to play multiple sports. It's okay for them to experience different things, but just start. And so because of that, we created our foundations program, which is just for that. It's 1 hour practice, and it's for kids that have never wrestled before or have less than 1 year of experience. And we have a lot of those now. And so they come twice a week for 1 hour of practice, and we teach them how to warm up. We teach them how to, do tumbling. We teach them how to stretch. We teach them how to stay in their stance, and very basic things to get them in the sport of wrestling. And we work out and we create some strength and conditioning in the form of a game, right? So for them, it's fun, it's competitive, but they don't understand that they're getting quick, faster, they're getting more explosive, they're getting stronger, they're gaining muscle endurance, and they're getting more in love with the sport of wrestling, which is ultimately what we want them to do. Once they create this love for the sport and they want to personally, not mom or dad or coach, once they start wanting to do more and have better results and be more invested in the sport, then it's our job as coaches to educate them on what that looks like. What does that commitment look like? What does that investment on your end look like? How much work is it going to take to get to where your goals are and your dreams are? And are you willing to put in the work, right? And then after that, we can show them how to scale them and put more time into it and help them achieve their goals.
With the amount of time that you've been doing this, not just here, but also at your other facility that you had in McClellan, and I know you've got other places opening as well. I have always been a believer in being a part of athletics as a young person is growing up, because my career in sportscasting, mostly at the high school level, I've seen so many come through the program and go on to be successful adults. Absolutely. What do you see is the benefit to being a part of this club and for wrestling that goes past the sport? What kind of lessons do you feel that it teaches that and strengths that it can create in a person past just wrestling skills?
I feel like in today's world, more and more, it's actually crucial to be in athletics. I believe kids need to move, kids need to be strong, kids need to be in shape, kids need to exercise so they can be less anxious, less depressed, less unhealthy, have a clearer mind, and less in anxiety in what they're doing. And what the sport of wrestling creates or does for young athletes, better than any sport, in my opinion, is teaches them discipline. It teaches them overcoming things. It teaches them vulnerability, and it's okay to fail in order for you to improve. It teaches them, so many things as far as, think about this. How many other sports will make you work out or will make you work out and push yourself past your comfort level while you're maintaining your weight, because there's certain weight classes, right? So you're hungry sometimes you're thirsty, sometimes you don't feel at your best, and you still have to show up, and you cannot hide behind the team, right? You step up on that mat, and it's you versus the other opponent. And the other opponent doesn't care how you feel, right? Their coaches don't care how you feel. The refs, the officials don't care how you feel. You have to step out on the mat and perform. And what's crazy is those young athletes understand that more times than not, I'm not going to feel 100%. And I still have to compete and pretend like I'm at 100%, right? And that's a lot like life. You go to work, you don't feel like it. Sometimes you're sick. Sometimes something's going on at home. Sometimes, you're tired, you're exhausted, you're not feeling well, whatever. And you still have to show up and perform, right? And so the sport of wrestling teaching kids that is ultimately setting them up for life and setting them up for success in life with whatever journey that they choose to perceive later on. And so I feel like wrestling is unique in that aspect. And what we do here is, and I've said this before and I've mentioned this before, but with our 3 pillars, which is academic and wrestling and career after wrestling, in a way we're developing leaders in our community, and we're developing a stronger community because of those leaders. And it's going to be a butterfly effect in the way where we know that if we can develop 5 kids, those 5 kids will develop 5 other kids. And then ultimately, Council Bluffs, Omaha area, and surrounding areas, Midwest, it's going to thrive. In business, it's going to thrive in happier individuals, and it's going to be a great place to live like it already is. So that's kind of my mission and my idea.
Yeah, that's I fall right in line with all of that you're talking about. That it is there's so much more that a young person is learning by being out here than just what the results may be right at that moment.
Sorry to interrupt you. We've had parents that come to us after they've been with us for a few years, and they say, you know what, I feel like one of the last things you teach is wrestling. Right? I mean, you teach wrestling and you teach techniques, and that's great. But none of that matters if you don't shape our kids to be disciplined, to listen, to follow the structure, to not make excuses, to, all the other values and lessons that we teach these kids before they can apply the wrestling skills to see success are what parents are ultimately thankful for. And I think that's kind of the transformational journey that we take those kids on, that they don't even know. They come here to wrestle and they come out of it on the other side much stronger individuals.
Well, the whole point to this program that you're on right now, and I'm still trying to figure out a way to condense the language down a little more, is, and you've heard me say it before, that my belief is the brighter of a light you shine on the positive, the less comfortable the negative is being around it.
Absolutely.
And I believe that by doing that and by highlighting what it is that you're doing here and by you being as involved in the community as you are, and always looking for more ways to reach out further into the community. You've got some new programs here that you didn't have the last time we spoke. So by doing that, that's what you're doing, is you're trying to shine a light on the positive. And that is what helps the community grow. And I believe that all the way down to my core. And too long for a bumper sticker, so I'm trying to condense it. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. And that's why I love the opportunity. Anytime I get the chance to talk to you, and this is the first time I've been in your facility. And I'm the kind of person, when I walk into a place, I can kind of tell what the energy is of that place. You can feel it in here. You walk in here, you can feel it. You can feel the positive things that are happening in here. So I'm grateful you're here. Thank you for always supporting, the morning coffee show, and also for supporting the community.
Thank you. I really appreciate you.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Is it any wonder how George and his team and his father are inspiring so many young people in our area? And you heard him talk about it, that parents are saying it seems like wrestling is like down the list of the skills that you're teaching our young people, because he believes so much that wrestling is just, it's one of his pillars. He talks about the different 3 pillars, and it's just one of the pillars in order to help young people become successful adults. Georgi Ivanov's one of my favorite people, and getting to sit in his facility and talk with him was a thrill. And again, George, thank you very much for that. Prairie and Pine Real Estate Group with Keller Williams Greater Omaha is a proud sponsor of Morning Coffee, and Mackenzie Shelton and her team can help you regardless of where you're looking to buy or if you have a home to sell on either side of the river in Iowa or Nebraska, because she has offices right here in Council Bluffs. She also has offices in Omaha and offices in Lincoln. That gives her a really good understanding about everything that's going on in the area all across the region, because she's there and she has people there that are following all the trends. So you can get a really good idea of specifically what's going on inside of the real estate market. So if you need to buy or sell, or you're in the market, get a hold of Mackenzie Shelton at Prairie and Pine Real Estate Group, Keller Williams of Greater Omaha. 2 days away from Thanksgiving. I would love to hear it. If you have any favorite recipes, who knows? I might even get it onto my Thanksgiving list. Menu's pretty set. I've got this big giant turkey that's currently sitting in my refrigerator. Hopefully will be free of ice by Thursday. It's not yet. But that's what I get for freezing a turkey and this thing is like almost 22 pounds. So it's taken a while to thaw out. I think I put it in the refrigerator on Saturday. Now it's Tuesday, and yeah, it's still got a ways to go. So I'm going to cross my fingers that all is going to be well with that. But I'd love to hear any recipes or maybe just dishes that you love for Thanksgiving. Just leave a comment. Let me know. And I'm really curious about ones that maybe aren't traditional. I mean, most people have the green bean casserole, a lot of corn casserole, a lot of stuffing, a lot of things like that. But some folks have very specific things just for the traditions in their own family that they always have at Thanksgiving. So if you have any you'd like to share, just leave a comment right here. I'd love to be able to hear from that. Again, a reminder, we will not be putting out a show on Thursday. However, we will have a show on Friday, and that special guest is going to be joining me on Friday. Actually, now I think I'm going to have two special guests on Friday because coming up very soon and then all into December, we want to be highlighting some of the smaller businesses and some of the specialty shops that we have in our area. So if you have one or one of your friends has one, let them know that we would love to be able to talk to them and feature them right here on Morning Coffee. Absolutely free, no charge. I'm not going to charge to have you come on for an interview. So just to highlight your shops, because I believe that we need to get back to spending our time Christmas shopping by going into some of these specialty shops. We need to get away from the online aspect of it. And again, a lot of these shops do have online. But that's if you're within the area and if you're within driving distance, what better way to do it? Walk in, smell the pine that a lot of times in the cinnamon that they'll have in these places. They smell great, staffed by friendly people. A lot of times you'll see the manager. Sometimes you'll even meet the owner and learn about these local folks that are just out here trying to support their families with a small business. As a community, I think that we need to do a good job of supporting them. And how can we do that best? Well, a lot of whether they're going to make it into the black or the red, as much of it is dependent on what's going to happen over the next month during this Christmas season. So go ahead and give them a shot. Go in and shop. I'm not saying buy everything they have. I'm just saying go in and shop and give them an opportunity to help you. And you can also help them and help the community at the same time. That's going to wrap up this episode of Morning Coffee. Thank you so much for being a part of it. And I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday. My name is Todd Studer. We'll see you again tomorrow morning.